Hello, Dharma friends. It's so nice to see all of you today. Um, this is the Dharma message for Sunday, December 6th, 2020, and we're also observing Bodhi Day. More on that in just a couple minutes. Let's start by putting our hands together and reciting the Buddha's name, the Nembutsu. Would you please put your hands together and join me in Gassho? Namo Midabutsu, Namo Midabutsu, Namo Midabutsu, Namandals, 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 Namandals. I'm so happy to be able to spend some time with all of you. Thank you for joining me. So today is Bodhi Day. That is the day that we observe when Prince Siddhartha became enlightened, became a Buddha, awoken to the truth. And it's a special day for all Buddhists all over the world. And the reason why it's called Bodhi Day is he did this while sitting underneath a very special tree in Bodh Gaya, India. And that tree is known as the Bodhi tree. So you may notice I have a tree over my shoulder here that has some beautiful lights and ornaments on it and a flashing star. This is actually a Bodhi tree for my family. And I like to show you who's sitting underneath our tree. So please take a look. Did you see the Buddha sitting underneath our Bodhi tree? That's our family tradition. We do that every year. And I'd venture to say if you go into other Buddhist homes, you may see something similar, especially in the United States. So this is our Bodhi tree. Also, there's a very special tree at our temple. And this is also a Bodhi tree. And it's said that the seed that was planted for this tree to grow actually came from the descendant of the actual tree that Prince Siddhartha sat under in Bodh Gaya, India, some 2,500 years ago. So let me show you a picture of that. That is a very special tree. And it's been a while since any of us have been able to see that at our temple. But the next time you go, I would encourage you to go maybe stand underneath the tree, close your eyes, and listen to the leaves rustling in the wind if you can. To me, it's really special because when I close my eyes and I listen to the leaves, it actually sounds like the pattering of rain, which is something I enjoy having grown up here in the desert. So next time you come visit the temple, please go check out our Bodhi tree. So what is Bodhi Day? Well, as I mentioned, that is the day that Prince Siddhartha resolved to sit down and not get up again until he awoke to the truth of the universe, the truth of life, the truth of everything, whatever it was. He wanted to have a way to sit down and contemplate on what truth was because he was interested in ending suffering, not only for himself, but for all beings. So he sat underneath the Bodhi tree, and when he awoken, he woke up to the Four Noble Truths. And just really quick, the Four Noble Truths are important to all Buddhists, and the first one is that we all experience suffering in our lives. And suffering can be anything from getting sick and getting old, passing away, but it also can be simple things too, like losing your car keys or maybe not getting the promotion you wanted at work or unable to spend time with your friends. Those are all other examples of suffering. And we all encounter them. We cannot escape them in our lives. The second noble truth is that there is a cause of that suffering. And many times as human beings, we tend to think that those causes are external, outside of ourselves, but they actually reside in here. So the example, the car keys, if I come home from work or the store and I'm not paying attention where I set my car keys down, if I don't put them in my usual place, I may go back later and can't remember where they're at and panic, especially if I need to get somewhere quickly that I can't find those keys. And that's on me, right? Because I didn't put them where they belonged. I wasn't being mindful when I walked through the door and I set my keys down, put them somewhere else, right? And now I'm suffering because I cannot locate them. Has that ever happened to any of you? Yeah, I'm sure it has, right? It happens to all of us, especially as we get a little older in our lives, or if we're really, really busy. Third noble truth is that it's possible to transcend this suffering in this life and become Buddhas. Now, traditionally in Buddhism, it was thought that you could do that actually as human beings However, as the centuries and millenniums passed, we found that it's incredibly difficult to do, especially for us who are just regular people. In Jodo Shinshu, our tradition of Buddhism is for regular people. We recognize that we can't do that without the special help of another being in our lives. And that being is Amida Buddha, who created the name Namo Amida Butsu, that we refer to as an Nembutsu, that we recite together during services or on our own. That is our path that we follow that permits us to be born in Amida's pure land and become Buddhas ourselves. That name was created by Amida. It's not something that we have to say for it to happen because it's already occurred. We recite the Nembutsu out of a sense of gratitude. So the fourth noble truth for Buddhists is that there is a path to follow to realize enlightenment. And I just talked about the beautiful vow of Amida Buddha. That is our path as Jodo Shinshu Buddhists. So when we follow that path in this life, recognizing that we're going to make mistakes, that we're imperfect, that there's no way we can be like the strict, disciplined Buddhist monk or nun of old, we recite the name of the Buddha, Namo Amida Butsu, in gratitude. That is our path to enlightenment. And again, we say it as an expression of thanks, of gratitude, saying thank you to Amida Buddha for making that possible. So, in addition to the Four Noble Truths, Shakyamuni Buddha, who was Prince Siddhartha, became the Buddha Shakyamuni. He continued to teach for many years until he was 80 years old, spreading the Dharma to people all over India. And he did it in a variety of ways. One of the ways that he did it, though, is he actually told stories. And we all know as human beings, stories can be incredibly important ways to learn about life lessons and morals. And some of the stories that the Buddha shared were actually known as the Jakata tales. And these are stories that supposedly took place in the Buddha's past lives. And when he was alive in the past, he sometimes was a human being, sometimes he was an animal. And he would tell these fables to others so that maybe they might learn a little bit about the Dharma and how to live their lives. So I'd like to share one with all of you right now, and this comes from one of my favorite authors, Demi, and she wrote some beautiful stories in this book that are based on the Jakata tales. And the one I'm going to share with you is known as The Lion King. So please don't confuse this with the great Disney film. The Lion King in this case is Prince Siddhartha in a previous life. So I like to show you a quick little picture. And just because of limitations in technology, I can't keep this up as I read the story with you. So I'll do the best that I can to read the story and share it with all of you. So hopefully you can see this. Let me get closer to the camera. A little hard. I know it's dark. It's kind of hard to tell, but there is a picture of a lion here, and surrounding the lion, which is tough to see, are different animals like an elk and an ox and a rabbit, some birds, just some different animals of the forest. So maybe as I read the story, you could close your eyes and try to picture these things happening. That might be helpful. So I'm going to go ahead and read The Tale of the Lion King by Demi. Once upon a time, a rabbit went to sleep underneath a coconut tree. When he woke up, a big coconut fell on the ground and exploded with a bang. At the sound, the rabbit jumped up and cried, "The earth is breaking up! The earth is breaking up!" He ran off as fast as he could, crying, "The earth is breaking up!" Soon, another rabbit joined him, then another, and then another, until there were 100 rabbits running and crying that the earth was breaking up. A frightened deer heard their cries and joined in the flight, followed by a boar, an elk, a buffalo, an ox, a rhinoceros, a tiger, and an elephant. A lion king heard their cries and thought, "The earth is not breaking up. There must be some mistake. And if I don't do something, they will all run into the river and drown." He ran in front of them and roared, "Stop! Who says the earth is breaking up?" And the boar said, The rabbit said. The buffalo said. The elk said. The rhinoceros said. The ox said. The elephant said. The tiger and the earth was breaking up. All nodded and pointed to the first rabbit. Is it true? The earth is breaking up? Asked the Lion King. Yes, O great lion, it is, said the rabbit. I woke up from my nap and heard the sound of the earth breaking up. Then, said the Lion King, you and I will go to the place where the earth began to break up and see for ourselves if it is true. With the rabbit holding on to his back, the Lion King ran off as fast as the wind to the coconut tree. When the Lion King saw the broken coconut, he said to the rabbit, You silly rabbit! The sound of a coconut breaking up does not mean that the earth is breaking up. And they ran back to the other animals to explain the mistake. So the moral of this story is, when one person tells a falsehood, 100 repeat it as if it is true. So I love that story, and I think it holds special relevance for all of us today. We live in an era where we hear things about fake news, alternative facts, conspiracy theories, hoaxes, and other things. All of this can be very confusing as human beings because it's hard to know what is really true and what is not true. And it's further reinforced by the news shows that we choose to watch and the social media platforms that we follow. All of this tends to reinforce what our ideas of the truth are. And sometimes we're unaware of what the truth is, even in ourselves. So it's our duty as human beings, as Buddhists, to try to get to the heart of the truth. And it's no easy task and requires a lot of discipline. But it's real important not to assume that the first thing you hear is actually true. So I encourage all of you to spend some time reflecting on things that you hear and to see if you can discover what the truth actually is, or at least maybe something a little bit closer. And maybe just not jumping to conclusions and making assumptions right away is a great way to start. So I would encourage all of you to do that. So this brings me to the end of my message, but I have one other tradition I'd like to share with all of you. And just like I have a Bodhi tree behind me, which may look like another type of holiday tree, there's a carol that I would like to sing with all of you, and this is what we typically do as a Sangha for Bodhi Day. It's the 12 Days of Enlightenment, and it's based off another very famous holiday song called the 12 Days of Christmas, so maybe some of you have heard it. So bear with me for just a moment. I'm going to get some music queued up, and we will get started. Okay, so are you ready? I'm going to spare you from singing every single day, one day at a time. That would take like several minutes, and I don't think you want to hear me sing that long. So I'm going to get it started in just a moment. But there will be a part in this where I'll refer to an inking, which is a little bell that we use sometimes for services outside the temple. Has a nice sound to it. So you'll get to hear that at one point in the song. So please listen along. If you know the words, I encourage you to join in with me. But these are the 12 Days of Enlightenment. So here we go. Get ready. On the 12th day in the Pure Land, Amida gave to me 12 chanters chanting, 11 monks a-sitting, 10 candles glowing, 9 sticks of incense, 8 paths to follow, 7 masters teaching, 6 paramitas, 5 inkings, 4 noble truths, 3 treasures, 2 ojuzus, and Siddhartha sitting neath the Bodhi tree. Thank you, everyone. It was so good to spend a little bit of time with you. I hope that you have a wonderful Bodhi Day and that it's reflective and full of gratitude, and happy holidays to all of you. And until next time, Have a wonderful winter season. And would you please put your hands together and join me one more time in Gassho as we recite the Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namandams, Namandams, Namandams. Bye for now. Take care.